Is it possible to take a tired old obsolete crossbow, throw some new limbs on it, and turn it into a powerhouse? Well, a short answer appears to be yes. This is my Carbon Express Heritage, a little crossbow I bought for 200 bucks after sales tax. It was obsolete, it was going out the door, I picked one up. These are actually the old limbs. If you observe carefully, the new limbs don't actually quite match the camouflage. So on these old limbs, I get roughly 75 to 85 foot-pounds of energy, depending upon the mass of my projectile. If I shoot the recommended standard 420 grain weight for a crossbow bolt, I get about 300 feet per second. I kind of always view it as a little bit of an Excalibur knockoff. So much so that I took the plunge and I ordered some Bulldog 440 limbs from Excalibur and took the risk and threw them on here. And here they are. It's a little bit narrower than the pocket here, but the pocket's just there for extra surface area. It's really the bolt here that matters. But yeah, everything worked. Even the string length was just right. I ordered a Matrix Excalibur string because this looks a little bit stouter. Now the question about power is, how much power does this increase? Did I throw away my money on nothing more than a set of spare limbs? Well, I have a bunch of arrows here, or bolts if you prefer, and we're gonna weigh these up and we're gonna do what we did before with the Axiom, and we're just gonna go from roughly standard weights up to the stupid heavy. And here's our ammunition for the weigh-in, ranging from the moderately light to the very heavy. 471, 20, 621 we'll say. Edge tack points, a little bit heavier yet. We'll say 697. Now this one has an arrow inside of it with a heavy insert inside of that. So it might not look any heavier, but I assure you, 920. And here I have one of the Edge tack giant points, 1268. Now we have this guy here. This is a ball of aluminum covered in carbon fiber. 2850 we'll say. Before we begin, a word from our sponsor. Is this you? Hear me, glutinous lump of evil! Is the battle against whole wheat wholly lost? Well, not anymore. Introducing Das Brotenmesser 9000. Brotenmesser 9000 uses acute edge bevel technology unseen in other bread knives. It uses a multi-variable sinusoidal profile pattern to give you the cutting surface you need. Watch this. Using delicate violin-like strokes that just plays like music. You slice through the bread with minimal effort. Look at this, almost no bruised gluten. But now, back to the shooting, shall we? But here we go, 471. .326. So, yes, we are definitely getting an improvement in performance over the old limbs. Now let's go up a notch. Now we have a 621 grain. Previously, before, this would get around 250 feet per second. Let's see what we get now. 294. 697. That says 105. I think we got an error. Let's try that one again. I don't know why the 697 was not working very well, but that time we got 277. All right, the shadows were getting a little too long there, messing up our chronograph results, so we had to move the table. Let's try this again. 920. 246. Now 1,268 grains. 212 feet per second. And now we have this glorious monstrosity at 2,850 grains or thereabouts. 143. So we have all of our data. I'll go crunch it, and let's have another look at it. All right, so I've crunched the numbers, and all of these are in metric. So now we're in meters per second. Speed goes from the 99 on down to 46. The real number that matters ends up being the joules, as a rule. And we start at 151, and we end up at 176. We end up with about 16% more energy. I was anticipating a little bit more based upon previous tests with other crossbows, but I'm over the moon with just the performance increase I got for a crossbow that I now have less than $400 in. I'm now getting very nice performance, so I'm happy. Now the momentum is a little bit different. The momentum steadily goes up by quite a lot and more than doubles when we're done, which is kind of neat. But the real question is, how much energy is this really? So how much energy is our middle of the road number here? If we want to take a liter of water from room temperature to a boil, being 80,000 calories, or 80 kilocalories, which is what we normally use. Well, 80 kilocalories equals 334,720 joules, which if we divide that across 168 joules for our middle of the road shot, that means that this crossbow could bring a liter of water to boil in 2,000 shots, if we converted it all perfectly into energy, that is. Either crossbows are not that powerful, or there's a lot more energy in a boiling liter of water than I anticipated. Hey there, you weren't there for the video. What the? No new cat video until buy more wet food. New professionally trained monkey servant. What? Kitty! No.